Hello guys, my name is Milana and I'm a certified hair care consultant, and I have been studying hair care for over 10 years by now. On my channel I'm going to be talking a lot about hair care, obviously. If that is something that you're really interested in, I'm welcoming you on my channel, hoping you will stay, because I know a thing or two about it, and that's what I'm here for. I'm going to be sharing my knowledge, my expertise, and my experience in this field. I'm pretty excited to be making this video because I am back on my YouTube journey. I posted my first video a couple of months ago and then kind of put it on pause, and now it is actually my New Year resolution or 2025 goal to be more present on YouTube, because I actually really want to get back on this platform. I really like it, and I feel like this is the best platform to communicate educational content in the best manner, because it's not that easy to explain many things about it in short-term videos, which I'm very active with on TikTok and Instagram. This is definitely the platform where you will be learning the most from me about hair care. So if you will stick with me, I will be very happy, and I hope I will actually be helpful to you. Now this is going to be a talkative video, more like a podcast version, so you're more than welcome to just grab a cup of something nice, which I have right here, a banana cappuccino. By the way, banana and coffee is the best combo ever. Try it if you haven't. I have my second phone here with me with some of the notes for this video, so I'm gonna be referring to it from time to time. And let's begin talking about hair finally. So the topic of today's video is setting hair care goals that you will actually be able to achieve. Why I wanted this to be my very first video of this year is because I often work with girls for hair consulting. I very often see that they do not set the goals that are actually efficient, and it is a very important part of achieving something. It doesn't only refer to hair care, by the way. Let me give you an example right away so you understand what exactly I mean. The things that you hear the most from girls that actually are on their hair care journey, they say, I want to grow like 20 inches of hair in a span of, I don't know, half a year, or they want to increase their hair density by like 30% by the end of the year, or they have greatly damaged hair from bleaching, let's say, and they want to achieve their healthiest length by, I don't know, mid-July. All of these goals are, first of all, unrealistic in most cases. Second, they're not motivating, because these things, they should not be the actual goal. They should not be your aim. They should be the result of the goals that you set along the way. Let me elaborate a little bit. If you want to grow your hair, you do not just put a mark on growing, let's say, 10 centimeters by August. The things that I just mentioned, you should definitely keep them in mind. This should be your big picture, and this should be something that you want, but make sure they're realistic, first of all. Second, you also should keep in mind that those things should be just the result. Okay, the actual goal should be the steps that you take on your way to that dream of yours, your wish of yours. I actually wrote something very nicely. It's a little bit philosophical, but I want to read it out loud. I will not be able to repeat it by heart. Concentrating on the huge picture is usually very demotivating, because you do not notice the results on your way there, and you do not get happy about them, but you do get upset about what feels like not having any progress, as you just don't keep the small steps in mind. It's honestly as simple as that. It's kind of like a hormonal game that you can learn to play to keep yourself happy. Hormones is not something that we're going to be chatting about today, so let's cut straight to the chase. I have 5 goals that are actually motivating and the ones that you can actually keep up throughout the year. So let's talk about them. The very first goal that actually every single person has to pay attention to first, especially if they're on their hair care journey, is to find products that address their daily hair needs. So this is obviously your regular hair care routine, and it has to match your hair type, your scalp type, It has to match your lifestyle, and it has to basically bring comfort to you in the effect that it gives you and also in the way you use it. First of all, your shampoo has to match your scalp type, not your hair type. This is something that I do not stop talking about on my social media, with my clients, with just people that ask me about hair care. This is something very important, because shampoo is not as much your hair care product as much as your hygiene product, because scalp is skin. It needs good cleansing. And if you, for example, use hydrating shampoo for your oily scalp, most probably it does not match it. You probably chose this hydrating shampoo because your hair is dry and damaged and you think that it's helping, but it's actually not helping that much. It might be causing your hair to get greasy much faster. It does not provide you that well of a cleansing. But it's not always the case, by the way. Some of the hydrating shampoos are actually really well in cleansing properties for oily scalp. Your conditioner has to obviously match your hair type, and it has to protect it. This is the foundation of your hair care routine, and this is something that every single person has to have in their routine. And there should be something, like, first of all, protecting. Conditioner is supposed to balance out your pH levels, which is very important after shampooing. It lifts the cuticle, and then it's in a pretty fragile state. So this is why it is important to choose the conditioner wisely, and it has to be something that is good on your hair. It doesn't weigh down your hair, and at the same time it provides enough hydration to upkeep the elasticity of your hair. Now, this is actually the topic for a totally different video, because it's a very broad theme. Getting back to setting a goal of finding perfect products that suit your hair needs, your lifestyle, your climate. To me, for example, I choose different products for different climates. Now, I have lived in Toronto for the past over 8 years, and the climate there is pretty humid. So the main products that I use, like the conditioner, the mask, and the sequence and the regularity of how I use it is different from what I use in my hometown in Kazakhstan, for example, because the climate there is extremely dry. So, for example, my lines for volume that I use in Toronto on a regular basis, they do not work as well in my hometown, because it's just not enough hydration and my hair gets staticky. So there's many different things that you should keep in mind choosing your regular routine. And number one goal is to find your perfect products that actually bring comfort to your hair and to you in usage in your daily life. A quick tip on how to avoid crazy expenses on your way to finding your perfect products, because you have to test different ones, right? Is to, first of all, the samples and testers that you can always ask for in the stores. Do not hesitate. This is in their interest to give you some samples because they want to sell. Or you can always ask to try products from your friends or family members, or I don't know, just random people, you know, your hairstylist if they're open for it. And another option is obviously the small travel size bottles that you can always buy in most brands. There is honestly no need to buy full size products every time. You need to try something and to see if that works for you. So do not get intimidated by the financial part of it. Honestly, it's very easy to avoid those expenses. Second point I have refers mainly to the girls who have damaged hair and want to get rid of it and want to grow healthy length and want to bring more life back to their hair. That's to cut your hair as many inches as needed. This is probably the most painful topic. Girls have the most damaged hair and they just do not want to cut it. And let me explain to you why. This is extremely important. Your hair is dead cells. If it's damaged, you cannot seal it. You cannot fix it. It's damaged. That's it. You cannot bring it back to life. So the only way to actually not have this damaged length on your hair is to just cut it off. Whenever brands on product packages, when their marketing specialists tell you that they will seal or fix your hair in just one use, just divide it by 2, because this is just a wording to sell you the product. The fact stays the fact. Your hair cannot be fixed if it's damaged. Now, how to make this part easier for yourself? If you need to cut off many inches of your hair, you can spread it out in parts. For example, make a habit in your life to go and cut off 1 or 2 inches every month. This will kind of balance out the amount of hair that you lose and also the amount of hair that you gain monthly in length, because your hair grows regularly. In that case, you will be able to get rid of that unhealthy length and kind of compensate for it. If your hair is greatly damaged, then it means that your damaged ends can actually go up and on your hair, because it can continue splitting apart and cause even more damages on your hair. Then I recommend just going and getting rid of it. Obviously, if there is no issue for you to go and cut off, 10 inches of hair, just go and do it, because that's gonna be the most beneficial thing that you're gonna do. But if it is that difficult to say goodbye to some of the inches, then probably just getting rid of it step by step, like monthly 1 or 2 inches, is probably the best option for you. But the fact that you have to get rid of it is non-negotiable, guys. Trust me, in long-term perspective, it's much better for you, because hair grows better on healthy length. If you have split ends, you will never be able to grow your length back. So trust me, you just have to get rid of it for a little bit, but then you will gain it back, especially if you're working towards it. The third point refers to the girls who struggle with hair loss and hair growth issues, especially if you notice changes in it. For example, your hair started growing slower, or you actually experience hair loss, a real hair loss, girls. That's you have to actually identify it correctly. The goal is to figure out the issue of why that is happening. I'm gonna tell you right away that most probably, if you're actually experiencing hair loss, this means that something is not going well inside your body. Whenever something in your appearance changes, that is the indicator that something is off in your system inside your body. So you have to pay attention to it immediately, because it can actually get worse if you just do not pay attention to it. To figure out what exactly is happening, you obviously have to make a doctor's appointment. With that, if we're talking about hair loss and hair growth issues, that is a trichologist, the doctor who deals with hair. Or you can also go to endocrinologist, gynecologist, and dermatologist. Trichologists are a little tricky to find, especially if you're living in a smaller town. They're not as widespread, unfortunately, to me. But dermatologist and the endocrinologist are the people who can actually also help you. Endocrinologist is the specialist who is competent in hormones in humans' body, and also the elements, micro macro elements in your blood, so whatever is actually the building force of pretty much your whole body, cell division, etc. Dermatologist is the person who deals with skin, and the hair and nails are just the appendixes to our skin, so they are also competent in that question. Sometimes, by the way, dermatologists specialize in trichology. That is kind of like an extension of their expertise, so you might potentially find a good specialist. I highly encourage you to not try to figure out the issue for hair loss or try to make your hair grow faster on your own, because you can make things worse. If you start taking supplements on your own without any prescription, without any treatment plan from the person who actually knows what's up, you can make things worse, and not only worse for your hair but also worse for your body. With some of the growth serums or any other products, you can also damage your hair, you can make your scalp irritated. I'm not gonna get too deep into that. There's definitely consequences that you can come across. So please invest your time, energy, and money into specialists, because they will be able to actually solve the solution not only in the moment but also in long-term perspective. And also, as I mentioned, if it's a hair loss, then it's not that the hair loss that has to be treated. Something else has to be treated in your body because something is not functioning properly. For example, if you're going to be trying to solve a hair loss with a particular scalp serum, you're going to be ignoring a dysfunction in your system that's going to cause harm to something else in your body. So please look inside your body and show some love to it. So again, goal number 3 is to make those doctor's appointments and try to find and identify the issue. And then after that, a good treatment plan. In number 4, we're going to be talking about foods and the actual building force that we supply our body that affects our hair, skin, and nails. There are so many things I wrote here, so I'm just going to be looking down for a little bit because it's actually important. So any foods that we eat, they actually break down into building materials for our cell division in our body. So the better the foods, the better the building force. Certain building materials affect certain areas, and if we're talking about skin and its appendixes, they include foods rich in fatty acids, fats, collagen, vitamin B, and a couple other ones, but those are most probably the main ones that we need. So the products that I recommend adding to your diet as a goal to make your hair better by the end of this year already, probably even earlier: avocados, salmon or trout or other of this group of fish, chia seeds, eggs with yolks, yolk. I cannot even say it with like proper English accent. Yolk. Leafy greens, bone broth, best thing for collagen ever on this earth. Nuts, red meat. Beef liver is fantastic, by the way. It's very rich in iron. Cow milk, beans, and nutritional or brewer's yeast. Yeast is incredible for hair because it is very rich in vitamin B group, and that is one of the main building forces for hair. Yeast, by the way, can be consumed by vegans. If you're a vegan, you definitely know that, and this can be actually a very important thing to incorporate into your diet, because from the list of foods that I just mentioned, you cannot eat at least like half of it. So this is gonna be a good substitute of all those, because it's still gonna be providing you with those benefits that I'm talking about. The easiest way to incorporate new things on a regular basis into your diet is to obviously, first of all, having them in your fridge, so start buying them at a grocery store, and second is to find a comfortable, like convenient and easy way to cook them and to make them tasty, obviously, so you actually enjoy it. There's so many different recipes that are actually very easy to make. Like, for example, for breakfast, I make a very nice avocado toast with egg and smoked salmon, and you can top it off with some nutritional yeast, and there you go. It's like a perfect meal to maintain your not just hair but your whole appearance. And obviously the more you eat it, the better the effect, and the longer you eat it, the better the effect. So if you include those foods to your regular diet right now and upkeep it for at least half a year, by the end of this year you're gonna have noticeable results in your appearance and in even in the like structure of your hair. It's obviously not gonna change the type of it, but you might notice that it's actually become much stronger. And the last but not least, probably one of the most important things in your hair care routine is to start paying attention to small details in your routine. Those are the habits that you should incorporate or to get rid of that have a cumulative effect on your hair, and if you pay attention to them in long-term perspective, they actually play a very big role. The examples of those are using a good brush, because it is something that we use on a daily basis, and if your brush is damaging, it's damaging your hair on a daily basis. And also safe brushing, by the way, that is also important, to brush your hair safely. Start using a microfiber towel. You can read about all the benefits of a microfiber towel online, but it is a very good thing because it actually works well with the moisture levels in your hair while drying it, and it also it's very soft generally, so it's a good thing to use because again you use it on a regular basis. Silk pillowcase or bedding. more of a pricey thing, obviously, but it's good for your hair because it doesn't damage it that much when you sleep. So imagine how much it minimizes the damage on your hair generally in life if you sleep on them every night. Safe hair ties. You 100% have heard about it. This is another thing that we use all the time, so thumbs up to using them always. I also added to this list protecting your hair from weather, because wind or frost or extreme sun and heat can damage your hair. There's different ways of protecting your hair when you go outside, and it is very beneficial to be mindful of them. Another one is being very careful with your wet hair. Wet hair is very fragile, so no sleeping with wet hair. Forget about this habit. If you have it, you have to get rid of it like yesterday. And also pulling on or rubbing wet hair is also very damaging, and that damage, again, irreversible. You will only have to cut it off, so just be careful. So as I said, these small things are actually very important and can make a big difference over a span of time. So if you incorporate these rules into your routine in 2025, by the end of the year, you're already gonna see the difference, trust me. Just to sum up again, I'm gonna mention that you definitely should keep your big picture in mind, keeping it realistic, but what you should focus on is the actual steps towards your big picture and make them a goal, to incorporate them as a habit, to maintain a certain hair care routine, to actually make it a part of your life, and then you will see that big picture as the result of your goals. So just remember that is the result, the actual logical outcome of you achieving the smaller goals that are actually very easy to achieve if you actually just try. I feel like it sounded a little bit philosophical, but I hope you don't mind it because that's part of who I am. I feel like this video already is a little bit too long, so I'm gonna be wrapping it up. I want to say thank you for your attention. I'm really glad that I'm back on YouTube, that I made this video a little bit later than the very beginning of the year, but whatever. I was on vacation. If you have any questions whatsoever, just leave them down below. And of course, I'll be very grateful if you support me with your thumbs up, and subscribe if you want to keep getting more knowledge about hair care. I will also be very happy to see you on my Instagram and TikTok. I share more of my life and also more about hair care in a more, convenient and easy manner on there. So yeah, I'll be very happy if you give me a follow there as well. Wishing everyone an amazing day, and I will see you very soon in another video on this channel. Bye!